If people want to know, this is really what I drive. This is my junk truck. It's my dump runner. I mean, it gets used for everything. It's kind of a gem. It's my, you know, it keeps me occupied. I can pick the paint off whenever I feel like it, and it doesn't matter. So what it is it's a 07 GMC rust bucket. Piece of crap. I bought this truck from my neighbor for really dirt cheap. And the reason that we're talking about this is because it's a 4.8 liter two-wheel drive. It's got a 4L60 in it. And I was driving to town and the check engine light came on and warning lights came on like instantly. And it was overheating. And so let's take a look underneath the hood here. Because what's very interesting is this does not have the heads on that notoriously crack. This truck has the 862 heads on it, and we all know about the 799, I believe it is, not 706s, can't remember. Anyways, those heads crack, so this is losing coolant. It has a tiny bit of coolant in the overflow the last time I looked. And when I pull the dipstick out, if we take a look at this dipstick, so the full line is right here and it's here. And this is full of antifreeze. She's a gem. The other cool thing is I'm going to start the truck up for not very long. It is winter outside, but we have the truck in here and it is probably, I'd say 18 degrees Celsius in here. So I'm going to get you to focus on the tailpipe of the truck while I start it up. This truck is guzzling antifreeze, and we're going to take care of that. First part of the plan is I was going to take this 4.8 liter out, and I found a 5.3 liter, and I knew the engine, and it was a running engine. I helped the guy actually take the truck apart, and when I went to get the engine, I pulled everything off because it was out in the field. I saved everything in the bottom till last. Well, when I went to crank it over, bit of an issue. The 5.3 was stuck, so that stayed out in the field, still in the chassis that it's in. The next part of the plan was I went out and I grabbed an LQ4 that I had sitting around because I thought, you know what, I'll just put a 6 liter in this thing. I thought I'll just check the bearing clearance stuff. I didn't know about the mileage. Pulled the pan off, looked inside. Cam bearing was spun. So I grabbed another LQ4, which I conveniently had out in the my storage outside, and pulled the pan off that one. Bearing spun. So we're rebuilding a 6 liter LQ4, but we're going to do some really fun stuff to it. What we're doing is, well, there's going to be a video on all the details of the engine, but I'm thinking this thing will be over 500 horse at the crank, which is another problem because this transmission won't hold that. So we're going to be putting an 80 in that I have outside. I'm not looking inside it. I'm going to change the converter and see what happens. Then the other thing that I thought, you know what, since it's in here, this is my dump runner. I'm doing it budget-wise, so a lot of the engine parts are used and what I had around. But I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do that, why not lower it? So we're going to take this thing. Right now, the front height is 34 1/8. And depending on where we take the measurement of the rust, no, I'll go center a wheel, and it's about 37 1/2. So we're gonna budget lower it. I don't know what I'm gonna do in the front end. Haven't even looked at it. Probably chop a coil off the spring. The back end, I'm gonna be pulling the factory blocks out. So whatever that lowers it, it lowers it. I just want it a little lower because I still want to use this thing. This thing gets driven in the winter in the snow. I have to add a lot of weight in the back. So the advantage of taking the block out of the back is it'll still handle the same weight. It's just gonna be lower. And then the other thing is, since I'm putting such a better flowing engine in it, I am going to be taking some exhaust off. Well, I had a wrecked van and I kept the exhaust for some reason, but it's a 3-inch exhaust. So we're going to be replacing this exhaust system with used exhaust parts. So join me as we go through that. My truck gathers gravel like a squirrel gathers nuts. This thing has definitely seen some serious gravel. Like, I mean, the frame rails, everything is just full of junk. This is something that I'm gonna have to clean out, and I don't want to leave any of it at the racetrack if I end up going there. Well, I popped the truck up in the air to take a look, and you know, this is a relatively clean truck actually underneath, and I'm kind of excited about getting it going. So was gonna put the van exhaust on it, and it is going to take a bunch extra work to get this on. So guess what? I'm not doing that. And here's another reason. This is a 3-inch single exhaust coming out. This truck is 2.5. But if you look at the muffler, that's actually a little bit smaller than 2.5 coming out the muffler. So I don't know what the point of doing this is anyway. I thought I'd have a 3-inch exhaust, but that ain't so. So giving up on that. We'll put a dump in it or something, and I'm gonna get this engine out. I just want to clarify the air conditioning in this. There's not even a compressor on this motor. Someone stole it off. So when I'm breaking these lines, I'm not releasing anything. The engine is out and Marie is working on rebuilding it. So I am moving on to other things so that she can do her thing. And what I'm doing is we're gonna look at the differential. Okay, the diff cover is back on. I'm just gonna I use the gasket, but I put a little bit of silicone on it. It's pretty rusty under there, so hopefully it doesn't, well, it won't leak. I put a little bit of silicone on it, waiting for that set up before I put oil in it. But the thing I'm pleased with is now that diff locks up pretty quickly. So that is awesome. And like I said before, I'm gonna do lower. This block right here, well, I've taken it out on the other side and it is a rusty block. The bolts are rusty. If you don't have some good tools to get them off, you're probably gonna have to get new U-bolts and cut them off. But anyway, it's 2 1/4 inches lower. That's what it's gonna be. Now this truck has a bunch of rake to it, so I think what's gonna happen, we'll put it back together without these blocks in the back and see what it looks like. It might look pretty cool, just level. I mean, I'm not spending a bunch of money on this thing. I just wanna do a couple little things to it, make it look wimpier, hey? So Marie isn't here yet. She picked orange, which is kind of a future plan thing for this engine, but it is time for me to start getting this in. She'll be here shortly and give me a hand. She's pretty good at doing this stuff.
Hey, what are you doing?
Well, you weren't here.
Hey, you gotta get out of here. You're stealing my job.
Ta-da, the engine's in. She got it in. Now, I'm gonna get you caught up on what's going with this. I have been driving this truck for about 3 weeks now. Marie, unfortunately, at work has to cover for somebody that has been sick. So all I did to it, because I wanted her to help me with the whole process of this, is I did a really basic mass airflow tune, pulled timing out of it, and been driving it around. Now, that's all I did so that I could get this thing kind of broke in, take easy on it, and so on. But the funny thing is I did this mass airflow tune, which is kind of, it is, I just did it on the road. I didn't put it on the dyno or anything. And I pulled that timing out of it. It feels, you know, a lot better than the 4.8, even though it's like seriously detuned. But I'm just going to vent a little bit here because it's really funny. I did this tune and I have drivability issues. And the funny thing is these are the same issues that a whole bunch of vehicles come in with the tunes. And a lot of these people that are doing can tunes, I mean, fine, if that's your business, you want to do a cheap can tune and you don't care, don't sell it like you're doing an awesome tune and that you're the cheapest guy around. Because yeah, maybe I probably care too much about the tunes, but I don't have to deal with the drivability problems. So this thing, you pull it into gear, it kind of acts a little funny. And when you go to accelerate, like I've had the wideband in it, checking out air fuel ratios and everything, making sure that it's decent, but it's not. I mean, I guess all I'm saying is I am not the world's best tuner, but I actually care about cars. And I really wish, well, I guess it helps my business a bit, makes me too busy. I wish that you guys that are out there tuning just took a little bit more care in the tunes you have so you don't have drivability issues. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to get this thing first oil change done. Then we are going to put it on the dyno. Unfortunately, Marie isn't going to be able to help me tune this vehicle. Getting it on the dyno and find out what it can do. And we'll go from there. So I'm just going to go underneath and we're going to look at a major exhaust leak and some things that have been taken care of. We'll see if you like how we did that. It's winter right now, so there is mud and snow and mix of things. It's really thawing today. But what I'm really happy to see is after driving this through the seriously harsh, cold, nasty weather and through the muck and whatever, everything seems to be holding up good. Lowered, used the old parts, and the diff is not leaking. Like, I didn't clean it up too well. There is one issue up here though that I'm really not happy with, and that is we have a pretty good leak on the back of the tranny. I'd never change the output seal, but guess what? That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna flip the camera around here. I have other videos on the truck, and one of them is the 4L60 to 80 swap, like super cheap swap. And that's what we did here. Remade this cross member. I mean, it's a DIY, easy to do swap. If someone has any tools and any basic skills with a welder, yeah, nice little mount, changed the wiring and so on. And that's that. I'll let you look at that video. So did these headers were like $100 or whatever, less than $100 on Amazon. And they were just terrible, terrible, terrible. So I have stainless exhaust met up to the crossover pipe, and just looking, the engine is extremely dry. There's not a drop anywhere on this thing. Looks really good in here. It's got scratched up. It's got snow and mud and crap caked on it. But we ended up with an exhaust leak, and I don't know what happened, but if you close the valve, the exhaust leak quits. So this is a really cheap piece of junk off of Amazon. And I have to say, if you are railing on it and you have it open, and you hit the close button, it doesn't close fully. So what I actually did is I took this off and I tightened the spring up, and it works better, but it's still, you pretty much got to be in D cell to have this thing close properly. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and maybe add a spring to it or something so that it closes more reliably. It's tight once it's closed. It isn't like it's flopping open under full acceleration or anything, but it just isn't the best. But you know what? For this, who cares? It was super cheap. So I am going to do an oil change to it. It has 600K on it. I'm just going to take and cut the filter part, make sure that everything looks good in the filter for the first oil change. And then we'll get into doing a little bit of tuning on it. So we'll just take a look at what this oil looks like coming out of here. So right out of the bottom, it looks pretty nice. You can see in the oil, it has a little bit of, or at the very beginning, it had a little bit of what looked like maybe some assembly grease in it. I just want to watch if anything else appears to be going through. Now, the one thing that I did have a problem with is I put a brand new oil pressure sanding unit in this thing, and it ended up leaking seriously. So I had to have this thing at the car wash crawl underneath because the entire bottom of the truck was covered in transmission fluid. Like, I mean, it was nasty. So or sorry, not transmission fluid, engine oil. It was completely nasty. So you can kind of see a bit of hue still on things. I'm gonna have to get under here and wash it some more. But so far that oil looks pretty good. It's a little darker than you'd want to see on a new engine, but remember, this was a razor blade rebuild, and not everything inside this engine was totally cleaned up the way it should be. As well as I cleaned off this magnet really good, and it looks like there's a chunk on there. So that I'm a little worried about, but we will take a look at that on the bench, and I don't know, maybe this motor is going to come apart again. It's a little not exciting how much I see on that. Okay, it's magnetic what's on there. And it could have been just a buildup of little fragments. I'm just gonna get this all wiped off onto this white rag. Really happy after doing that. It literally has no chunks. That what looked like a chunk, I think, was a tower of fine material. It is literally no chunks at all. It's just really fine. So probably due to a little bit of lack of taking care and really cleaning this out, because it's a get her done job. But I'm sorry, I should not have done that. I should have really, after all the machining was done and everything, I should have got it, took it to the machine shop and got it cleaned out more. But the magnet's got a little bit of fur on it, but really exciting. We'll take a look what the filter looks like. Just walking over to the truck to get the filter off, I thought from up here it looks pretty cool. Taking those back blocks out really leveled this thing out. It almost looks maybe a little lower in the back, but when we're outside, we'll go on level ground, take some measurements and see what we ended up with and get a further away view. I took a tin snip and chopped the canister open. And I guess that's one thing I'd recommend if you're going to do this. Don't like hacksaw it open. You're going to add filings to it. I dumped the bottom of the canister out, and I mean, you can see a bit of hue in here, which I mean is pretty normal. There's no chunks, no nothing, but there's a lot of silver, which is pretty normal for a new motor. It's probably not the amount I'd want for like an awesome rebuild. I'm just going to take and see what this thing looks like a bit more unfolded. That one pleat, it feels a little gritty. It's a relatively clean magnet, but I'm just gonna see. Yeah, nothing added to it there. So I don't know what that grit was. There's some more there. Literally is non-magnetic. It doesn't look aluminum-like. It legit looks like dirt, probably from the old oil in that engine. We would have loosened up a bunch of it. Kind of just turns to gritty powder. It's funny how it's all on one side of this filter, really, and it's not a whole bunch. I guess what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to end up doing another oil change, probably in 500,000 K, something like that, to make sure that this isn't something going on in the engine. There's nothing picking up on this magnet. For how dirty this rebuild was, it's actually quite pleasing to see this. There's some little paint flecks there. Yeah, like there's nothing sticking anywhere. Happy, happy, joy, joy. So none of the bottom end stuff is really tuned. We're gonna have to correct some airflow and so on, but the truck is warmed up on the dyno and we're just gonna go into steady state and get some tuning done on it. Pretty excited about this. First of all, I'm gonna be cleaning up the mass airflow tune on the dyno, because from the dyno to the road. It's way easier to get it more accurate. Right now, the mass airflow side is, well, it was when I was doing it, when we first ran it, at about 2.5% off. So we'll see how this goes. We'll just take a look inside, show you what I'm talking about, mass airflow. So this is the oxygen sensors turned off, and the mass airflow sensor is comparing to what is called for to what it is. So we're looking at lambda here, so that's 14.68 at 1, and that's what the actual is. So it's jumping around, but we're within, you know, the biggest gap. I did make a change in here. It was just under 3%, and I like to have it, you know, at least 2.5 under. So anyway, there we go. So what I got to do is stop data logging this. I'll do one more iteration because we'll be able to correct these, get these numbers a little bit closer, which is not a huge deal. And then I'm going to turn the mass airflow off, and we'll be running the VE tune based completely on the map sensor. So I'll get that all set up and we'll get back into steady state. I went in the house last night and was too lazy to come out. Well, something happened. Not the best tuning weather, because I'm not going to be able to touch it up as well as the atmosphere. But this happened. It was thawing and all a muckfest, and we're getting pretty hammered with snow. But I'm going to keep tuning, at least getting the VE tables sorted out. And yeah. All the temperatures in the engine, tranny, everything are staying good. Smelled something, I don't know when it started on fire, but the headers got hot enough to catch the firewall insulation on fire. These headers, I think, were a bit of a mistake. Well, I do have to say I'm a little bit disappointed here. I knew those headers were really close to the firewall, and yeah, that insulation I didn't think it'd light up like that. But when your headers go translucent, which is really common on the dyno, and that's one thing with the dyno, it's gonna push it to the max. So I have the VE totally sorted out to 5,500 RPM, and that's gonna be great. But before I can do anything else, I have to fix my injector wiring, my coil wiring, change my PCV hose here. It's just totally melted right up. And some other wiring at the back of the engine. So I guess that's it for today. I'm going to get that fixed up. And then maybe when I start getting to the point where I'm doing some pulls, we'll do some more recording. But it's late in the evening. And yeah, another day. There's another day. Bit more of an update. Well, I found out why that insulation on the firewall all went up in flames. I had taken this to the car wash, as a matter of fact, twice to wash it out because of the failed oil pressure sending unit that we dealt with. And when I ripped it out, there was so much oil still in it. I am amazed I got it out with a water extinguisher, but anyway, so it did wreck a lot of wiring. I got a bunch of that fixed up. The exhaust cutout that I put in this is the wiring to it's fried. I'm going to have to, well, I think it actually burned up the actual cutout itself. So anyway, I got to get that stuff right now. I've been dynoing it with it vice gripped open, which is really fun. But now we got a cam in this. We've done, you know, the upgrades to the engine, and the fuel pump seems to be holding well, but next problem is the injectors. They are not going to handle. Usually when you're tuning, you want to be under 80% duty. Well, 80% is max duty cycle, and we're far over that. I'll take you inside and show you what's going on. Okay, this is an earlier data log. I'm doing pulls on the dyno, and if you look here, here's the duty cycle. Now, this data log, I'm still really rich. I'll show you another one. But if I zoom through this, you're going to see that we totally lose control of the injectors. The duty cycle is way over, but I mean, I'm seriously too rich. And I have a bunch more work to do in the timing area, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, we're at 131, 132. Now, I know that for sure I can clean that up by leaning it out, and I'll just grab another data log. Okay, in this data log, you're going to see the injector duty cycle up here as I scroll through this thing. I have the AFR now in where it's actually making power, and I have to start giving it some more timing and stuff to be able to get this thing to make the power that we want. But ended up having another problem, which I'll show you, which I'm really ripped about, as well as I need bigger injectors. And so I'm going to do what I guess is a bit of a hack because of what this truck is. I'm going to decap injectors, and I will show you another video on that. But with this, got out of the truck after a pull, and guess what? So I have another oil pressure sending unit that is coming because this is the second failure of the oil pressure sending unit. And let me know if anyone else is really ticked at our new parts that we're getting nowadays. It doesn't matter what brand you get, they're seeming to be all junk. Well, guess what? This update is the same as the last one. Oil pressure sending unit. It's probably about another liter of oil on the floor. This is the third sending unit. So I'm going to put another one in, data log that, and see what's going on. But I don't think it's the truck problem, but who knows? We'll see. But the shop is just filled in smoke, and it was on fire again. So we'll see if we can pull some security camera footage to see if we can see this fire. Not fun. Under the hood is just soaked in oil. I've already brake cleaned it a whole bunch, but so Murray is in the dump runner, and I was hoping that this video would be a little bit different, but we don't have good gears in it. We don't have good tires on it. The converter sucks, so I'm hoping we break 17 seconds tonight. That would be awesome. I can't believe it. This truck was going to be like, hey, we're going to get this done in a weekend. And now it is months later, finally driving down the road, driving down the track. The stance turned out really good. I think that's pretty cool. It made about 380 horsepower and just over 400 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels, which is down from what I expected, but we ended up picking up another parts truck. Imagine that. And it has a different intake that we can put on here. So it's the Trailblazer style intake. So that's what's going to go on here. And hopefully that'll wake that up a little bit more. We want the horsepower to come up a little bit. But I was hoping that we would hit into the 17s in the quarter mile, and guess what happened? What was the fastest pass you made?
1588.
Yeah, so it made a 1588. But we have a terrible gear set in it, which the parts truck happens to have a 373 diff with disc brakes. So we're going to be doing that swap into this truck. And then the converter that we got, it just is not, it is really tight. It's almost like stock converter tight. So we're going to do probably a gear change and tire size change and see what it runs down the track, see the time comparison there. And then I think we'll probably pull the tranny out, and I already talked to the guys that sent us the converter. They're going to loosen it up, and we'll do a video on that with seeing how much just a converter change can pick up time in a quarter mile. That'll be interesting to see. We're sending this converter in. We should probably go with a smaller converter, but I'm just going to loosen this one as much as possible, and we'll see what it does. Not too concerned. You have fun racing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was lots of fun.
Yep. So is it better than Sappy?
Well, it's faster than Sappy.
By a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're having a lot of fun. I really thought this video was going to be a little bit different, like doing donuts and burnouts and stuff like that with it. But this thing, even on wet ground, has a hard time spinning the tires off the line. Once you get going, if you're going down the road with a little bit wet, it just boils the tires. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a lot of other videos on what we did to this truck along the way. So check those out. And I think that's it. Is that all we wanted to chit chat about? I just want to finish this video up, and we'll have some other ones out about improvements that we can do. How many people have old dump runner style or just old Chevys like this, it's not that hard to make them a little bit quicker. So if you don't mind, check out all the videos, watch for the ones coming up, and please like, share, and
Subscribe.